Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Tuesday, April 4th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Halifax Council has voted yes to pass the Landlord registration bylaw. Nova Scotia Acorn, the Association of Community Organizations for Reform Now, held a press conference this morning ahead of HRM Council's second reading of the Landlord registration bylaw. They held the signs high outside of City Hall, calling on Council to vote yes to the bylaw. Their concerns about what they call a long-awaited bylaw follows years of their efforts to push HRM to strengthen the enforcement of the M200 Respecting Standards for Residential Occupancies bylaw.
This change will allow people to complain about the standards in their building without fear of retaliation from their landlord or property management company. And when that is in place, we will truly see what kind of issues we have once people have no fear of reporting.
I live in Highfield Park, and the building is falling apart. It's like the balconies are slanted and there's bird poop everywhere. There's mold issues, there's ant issues, there's garbage issues, everything pretty much, you name it. We've tried, me as tenants and myself have tried to make a difference by going to the landlords and speaking with the landlords. And basically it just resulted in retaliation.
All councillors but one voted yes. Ahead of the decision, Acorn said the Landlord registration bylaw would be a big win for tenants, and by passing this, council will show tenants that they take well-maintained housing seriously. And speaking of housing insecurity, Dartmouth's Doubletree Hotel is getting ready to become a full-time shelter next month. The hotel already houses around 100 homeless people. The provincial government is now working on a lease agreement with the building owner. There are around 100 staff employed at the hotel, some of which told SaltWire they would be losing their jobs at the end of the month. The Department of Community Services oversees the province's shelter diversion program. The program funds emergency hotel stays for the homeless across the province, including the people staying at the Doubletree. But there's still more questions than answers, as there has yet to be confirmation from the hotel or the province on exactly what is happening and on what exact date. A special weather statement across much of the province is calling for heavy amounts of freezing rain late tomorrow. More winter weather is on tap, including a messy mix of ice pellets and freezing rain expected to affect the region starting tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Central and northern mainland Nova Scotia could be hit the hardest, which could mean hazardous driving conditions. Our weather specialist Alistair Alders has more on the system heading our way.
Thanks, Kate. Well, we know the famous saying is that April showers will bring May flowers, but this is Atlantic Canada, and we do get a bit of snow and ice in April, and that's exactly what's in the forecast. Later this week, a Colorado low will be tracking well to our west, but the warm and cold fronts associated with the system will be crossing Atlantic Canada. That will bring us a messy mix of weather as we go beginning Wednesday night through Thursday night. We'll take a look at this on the weather timeline, and we'll start tomorrow afternoon where conditions are relatively calm across the province, just cloud cover building in. However, as we advance through the afternoon, some patchy bands of ice pellets or freezing rain develop over parts of southwestern Nova Scotia, and into Wednesday evening we will see a mix of weather developing across most of mainland Nova Scotia. Now for parts of central Nova Scotia, likely beginning as a period of some ice pellets or wet snow. And then that line of ice pellets and wet snow will sit somewhere between Cumberland County and the eastern shore of Nova Scotia. For central Nova Scotia, including in the Halifax area into southwestern Nova Scotia, this includes the Annapolis Valley and South Shore, we'll have a mix of rain and freezing rain. And now the freezing rain most likely for inland locations as we go Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Right along the coast could just be rain. However, a possible period of extended freezing rain as we go Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Now, we do get a bit of a break as we go through Thursday morning. Precipitation becomes patchier, just some scattered showers and drizzle, and then along the trailing cold front, and another round of rain will move in as we go through Thursday evening. And over parts of eastern Nova Scotia, that could mix with a bit of freezing rain. As we take a look, though, at the freezing rain projection showing where this will set up, you can see that it's central Nova Scotia, Hants, Halifax area, westward into the valley and parts of the South Shore, especially interior areas, that we could see an extended period of freezing rain. So this is a bit of a concern. I mean, this time of year it's mild, so that will help us. However, given that we could see a bit of coating on trees and roadways, we'll have to watch out for potential power outages, and as well the potential that walking and driving could become dangerous, especially early on Thursday morning. So keeping a very close eye on this system. And of course, you can find more on this in the weather section of saltwire.com. We'll take a look at your Halifax forecast coming up in just a bit. Kate.
And Alistair will be back in the weather section with our regular Halifax forecast tonight into tomorrow. An update to a lockdown in a Windsor high school yesterday. RCMP say the 4 minors involved in the incident were released without charge. Yesterday, just before noon, West Hants RCMP were called to Avon High School after a report of 4 teens moving a firearm from the trunk of a car to the passenger compartment. After reports of the group entering the school, unknown if there was a gun, the school went into lockdown. RCMP now say there was never a gun inside the building, that they found a pellet gun inside the car. RCMP say there were no threats made to the school and that the pellet gun does not meet the definition of a firearm under the criminal code, so no charges were laid. Well, it was a nostalgic day for some at the opening of Zellers in Dartmouth. The beloved Canadian retail brand announced its locations within 2 base stores in Nova Scotia, 1 in Dartmouth and 1 in Sydney.
I'm so excited. This is the best day of my life. I love Zellers. I haven't been in years. I'm literally getting merch, so I can remember this day forever. I'm going to Taylor Swift, but this is better.
Zellers is set up inside the Bay at Micmac Mall, as well as the Bay in Mayflower Mall in Sydney.
It's fantastic, amazing. The vibe's immaculate. The DJ, so good. Better than the Dome. This is where you want to be in Halifax.
23 other locations will also open this spring across Canada. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with the co-chairs of the Advisory Council for the African Nova Scotian Road to Economic Prosperity Plan.
Irving Carvery, tell me what this economic recovery plan looks like. What is the job that you have been tasked to do, you and Dolly?
Well, we've been tasked with going into our African Nova Scotian communities to first and foremost, listen to our communities in terms of what they see as needs within their community to allow for economic development to take place in their communities. That's our primary role. We deal in areas of housing. We deal in areas of economic development. We also are involved in areas of social concerns within our communities.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of saltwire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
The Gulls Majors are U15 male Atlantic champions after a dramatic OT victory, a win that brings a lot of pride to the Gulls.
It's huge for this group, right? That's what we set out a goal at the beginning of the year, and we were able to achieve it today. So it's a real good moment for these kids.
It's an unbelievable feeling. We've been working all year for this, and we've been practicing, and it's all led up to this, and this was the main goal.
And a core of returning players made a big difference for the Gulls.
We had a lot of second-year players. We had 12 returning guys, so that was the core of our team. We draw from 10-town area, a little bit from Halifax as well, the Shabako Association. So we have 2 Pee-wee associations come together, and we usually get a decent crop of kids.
And for Aaron Chip, who scored that OT winner, playing 4-on-4 in overtime was nothing new.
Well, we always play 4-on-4 just for fun and practice and stuff like that. So we've kind of been, it was just to do it in a game. It's just the nerves and it being the finals, and then just gotta take what they give you. And I just saw everyone coming at me, and then they were throwing their gloves in the air, and then I was at the bottom of a big pile of players.
And what better way to celebrate than an on-ice shower for the head coach? In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check back in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Hi again, Kate. Well, it was a relatively cloudy day. We had some sunny breaks around, but it certainly was a mild spring day here in Halifax. Nice tomorrow, but cooler ahead of that messy mix of weather that will move in tomorrow night. This evening, we will have mainly cloudy skies, a bit of clearing as we go later this evening and overnight tonight. We'll see the temperature this evening near 6 degrees, so still mild. Bit chilly tomorrow morning, though, near 0 in the city, -3 inland with a mix of sun and cloud and north winds of 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Into the afternoon, we will see increasing cloudiness and a high of 5 degrees, and of course, that is ahead of the system I mentioned earlier in the show. So here in Halifax, we could see a bit of wet snow or ice pellets initially beginning tomorrow evening, but as we go through the evening into the overnight hours, a mix of rain and freezing rain, with freezing rain more likely for inland locations and likely just rain along parts of the coast. However, this could be an extended period of freezing rain, so we do have to watch particularly for the first part of Thursday for dangerous driving and walking conditions and the potential for power outages. As I told you earlier, keeping a very close eye on it. I'll have another update here tomorrow, and you can find updates on the weather section of saltwire.com. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com, and you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.